Hello. Hi. It's Skycatlive. What's up, guys? It's 5:35 p.m. on a Wednesday. It's 3/11/26. That's March 11, 2026. It is 68 degrees in my house, and it's a Wednesday, 5:35 p.m., 68 degrees, 3/11 on a Wednesday. And I love you guys. Sorry for the slow start today. Had to go pick up stuff at the P.O. box, and then I ran errands. I put gas in the car. I bought beer, which I brought home. We have a nice new beer I've never had before. It's Voodoo Ranger G-Force, and the main takeaway is 11%, baby. Cracking a beer in the first 5 minutes. Oh, yeah, let's go. Uh, mm. Look at that beautiful color of yellow. It's like the amber waves of grain if they were liquid. Ah, beer. Proof that God loves us and wants us to be happy. To alcohol, the cause of and solution to all of life's problems. Okay, today we're going to take it off the big face. I am playing some World of Warcraft TBC anniversary. I don't know if the proper stuff is up yet. I will see. I had to restart my computer again, so now I have to upload again. Uploading. This was 310 part 44. It was 3:44:11. You can't see this? No, you can't see it because it's fucking up. God damn it, I'm sorry about this. Hold on just a second. Piece of shit ass fucking Windows cocksucking brain dead idiot. There we go. And so now I forgot the number, of course. So now we gotta go back. Tell me what it is. It's 3:44:11. Okay, 3:44:11. 3:44:11. 3:44:11. 3:44:11. Anything to make this process as painful as possible. There we go. 3:44:11. 23:44:7. I've been trying to get these up for days. It's just the piece of shit software developers are fucking with me any way that they can, in any possible way. So there we go. So what else? We have that, and now I need 18, 20, 52. 18, 20, 52. 18, 20, 52. Okay, good. That, I believe, is everything that should have been uploaded. Oh no, here we go. 309. There's also, that was the first three things. Now that we had to restart yet again because of a stupid ass fucking Windows update. Now I'm going to have to go through all of these. This one's 22, 18, 16. 22, 18, 16. 22, 18, 16. 22, 18, 16. Here we go. Okay, we go back and we look for. It's so technical and stupid, this fucking process. These idiot software developers, they should be prosecuted for the amount of time that they waste with this stupid ass shit. So here we go. This was 17,350. You gotta get that one up. 17,350. 6 videos I'm backlogged down now because stupid ass fucking piece of shit software developers decided not to work this particular time. Now I forgot the 17,350. I think it was 17,350. 17,350, yeah. And then finally 17,350, 23,44:07. Two more. Oh, well, 17,350. I got that one. 17,350. And this was, yeah, there's 5 uploading and 6 videos. 17,350. This one was 12/5/19, 12/5/19, 12/5/19, 12/5/19, 12/5/19. This is so. It's like playing a video game with retards who literally their stupidity prevents you from moving quickly. It's like hungry hippos for retard software developers. This stupid process is so goddamn dumb. Like the developers themselves. Anyway, so there we go. Piece of shit software developers can't keep us down. I'm the proof of it. Fuck these worthless pieces of shit. And they're terrible, terrible, passing the cost of business on to the consumer at the cost of billions of man hours of inefficiency and problems that the public pays for, not the software developers. And so fuck them. Let's all hope they face prosecution. It's not our lives that you get to steal, piece of shit. Let's see how you feel about doing all this when you're behind bars. Piece of shit software cocksuckers.
The Pentagon hid this from you. That first attack on U.S. troops by Iran, it was so much worse than they let on. Not only.
Okay, so we're playing some World of Warcraft TBC remaster, or whatever it is, whatever it's called. And I'm gonna check all the titles. Yep, Destiny Lover at PS12. There's Whisper. Thank you for sub, buddy. We probably won't be making it, but that's okay. So, ooh, I have money, which means training. That's good. We'll go to, and I'm also off the skins. Gotta fix that. Graphics. I don't know why I have to do this every day. Piece of shit software developer. You think you can just pass the cost of business on to the consumer like this? You fucking piece of shit cocksucker. Fuck you. Fix your fucking frame settings. Stupid piece of shit software developer cocksuckers. Suck my dick. Stop wasting my time. Okay, anyways, moving on. Sorry, guys. It's just, every 10 seconds some software developer fucking fucks with me. Oh, good. My headphones just cut out for no reason, for some reason. Okay, get in. Why is my sound cutting in and out? What's up with you, piece of shit cocksucker software developer? What's up with you? Try again. Nope. You didn't charge this headphone or something stupid. I don't know what it is. Yeah, that might be it. Yeah, it appears that's it. I got earwax in my headphones and it prevented me from charging them. Fix it. It's just too much for her. I don't think this thing charged. We'll have to see. Put these away and charge them, I guess. What is the battery of these things at? Yep, the right side ear did not charge. Is it charging right now? Yes, it is. So, I don't know what the fuck's up with that, but, switch to my other headphones. I have my watch, so that works. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Piece of shit software developers and their fucking hardware issues and their fucking problems. You can see every 10 seconds some software
Only
developer
6 service members killed. More than 30 are still hospitalized with traumatic brain injuries, memory loss.
Cocksucker, brain dead software developer fucks with me every 10 seconds. You can see it, and I do hope that they all face prosecution for it. They've been stealing and passing the cost of business on to the consumer. No other business industry in the fucking mankind's history has ever had this kind of leeway. I need the software developers to be prosecuted for the amount of fuck ups that they commit every single day.
Shrapnel wounds and burn.
Now, I just switched
Meanwhile,
headphones. You just didn't do it because you're a stupid piece of shit fucking operating system that doesn't work. Try again.
Energy Agency,
Sorry releasing about that. Stupid piece of shit software developer had to fuck with me every 10 seconds there for 7 minutes straight. Sorry, every single piece of software I use completely fucking breaks. Oh, cool. Here's the next problem. Here's another piece of shit software developer. It has his say of fucking cocksuckery and fucking failure, Sorry, guys. So what'd you do there? No, I need you to actually switch to the fucking headphones. You stupid piece of shit cocksucker brain dead developer. I actually need you to do it. Can you do it? I don't think you're fucking possible. You can't do it, huh? You can't do that? You can't switch sound? Alright, fucking relog, you stupid piece of shit cocksucker software developer. Fuck you, asshole. Fuck you, Blizzard. I hope you lose your company. Jesus Christ, I'm not in the mood for you fucking pieces of shit to cross me. Suck my dick, you worthless failures. Suck my dick.
its largest ever oil release from global strategic reserves as Iran keeps up attacks across the Middle East in a bid to show that it hasn't been defeated yet. And that's even after American and Israeli strikes that were described as the most intense so far. And and that's where we have to start. And so with all that, today you had Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, the UAE, and Oman all saying that their forces intercepted drones and missiles. Oman also reported drone strikes on fuel tanks at a port in the southern part of the country. And a British maritime monitoring group reported that 3 commercial ships in or near the Strait of Hormuz were hit by projectiles within hours of each other. And Iran appeared to take responsibility for at least one of those attacks, with the commander of the Navy of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps saying in a social media post that any vessel that intends to pass must obtain permission. And as we've talked about at length before, Iran's ability to effectively lock down the Strait
I need to set a one-time alarm for 6:50, please. Thank you. Okay, so there we go. And then I'll do the ISOP when it comes up. Next, I'm going to go looking for group on Red Mage while I play some WoW. We have to make sure that the WoW can even get sound first. Okay, good.
Strait of Hormuz, it's pretty much their best leverage. About a fifth of the world's oil passes through that waterway. And with Iran knocking it almost entirely out of business, you had international oil prices surging to nearly $120 a barrel at their peak, which was the highest level since 2022. And while they've since fallen to around $91 a barrel, in part because Trump says, oh, this is not a forever war, it's actually pretty much done, but then he's constantly contradicting himself, that $91 a barrel, it's still up from less than $73 a barrel before the war began. And with that, you also had another Iranian official claiming today that the world should get ready for the price of oil to reach $200 a barrel. And while these rising prices, they're having the biggest impact in Asia and Europe, which rely more heavily on the Middle East for oil and natural gas, without a doubt, this is going to have an impact on the United States, and actually, it's already having an impact. Prices at the gas station, they have gone up for the 11th straight day. The national average is $3.58 a gallon, according to AAA. I was driving this morning, I saw diesel was $5.18 near me. And well, the markets, they react to Trump's offhand comments and other speculation about when this war might end. The situation on the ground, or maybe in the sea rather, it seems to just be getting worse. Were you at Trump previously saying that he might order Navy warships to escort merchant ships through the Strait of Hormuz? And there's actually precedent there. American forces did that for a period of time in the late 1980s during similar tensions with Iran. And yesterday, you actually had Energy Secretary Chris Wright saying on social media that a Navy warship had successfully escorted an oil tanker through the strait, but then he deleted that post. And the Navy's actually turning down requests from the industry for escorts on a near daily basis. Also, Pakistan and France, they're among other countries that are looking into this option, but there's been no movement yet, and it may only be about to get more dangerous. Right? Because the US reportedly received intelligence yesterday that Iran was getting ready or had even already begun laying mines in the strait, with one unnamed official telling the New York Times that none had been laid yet, but preparations were underway, while then other sources told CNN that at least a few dozen mines were already in place. And then adding that Iran still has 80 to 90% of its small boats and mine layers, so its forces could feasibly lay hundreds of mines in the waterway in the days to come. Now then, with that, you had Trump writing on social media yesterday that if Iran has put out any mines in the Hormuz Strait, and we have no reports of them doing so, we want them removed immediately. With Trump then claiming that 10 mine-laying vessels had already been destroyed, and Pete Hegseth saying on Twitter, we will not allow terrorists to hold the Strait of Hormuz hostage. And by the end of the day, you had US Central Command saying that the number of mine-laying vessels eliminated had gone up to 16. But it also is unclear to what extent that's actually limited Iran's ability to keep it up. And then in the meantime, you have the international community having to move forward under the assumption that the situation isn't gonna, all of a sudden get resolved. And so today, you first had Japan, Germany, and Austria announcing that they would release oil from their strategic reserves. With then, the International Energy Agency announcing that its 32 members would together carry out the largest ever oil stock release in history, by releasing 400 barrels of oil from strategic reserves. And in addition to it being the largest, this is also the first time that the agency is taking action in this way since Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. Which, on the note of Russia, it's worth pointing out that it and other oil exporters outside of the Middle East are actually benefiting here. Because prices are going up, sanctions might even be getting lifted, and they have supplies to sell that aren't trapped in the Gulf. And so you're seeing things like an economist historian at Cornell telling Axios, sanctioned Russian oil is trading at a premium to the most widely traded international benchmark, which is just mad. If you're a Russian oil trader or a Russian company, you have never earned as much money selling oil as right now because of the supply chain interruption. And with that, besides Russia taking advantage, even Iran is weirdly sort of benefiting from this in a way, with the country now reportedly exporting more oil through the Strait of Hormuz than before the war. Though notably, the US likely could destroy Iran's ability to do so at any time, but they're just choosing not to. Right? Because the American military claims to have struck roughly 5,000 targets in and around Iran, but it has so far kept away from bombing the oil infrastructure. And that including a place called Karg Island, which handles about 90% of Iran's oil exports. And one reason, at least according to an expert who spoke with The Guardian, is that destroying or damaging the facilities there, it runs the risk of causing an economy-shaping increase in oil price that would not drop rapidly. But then she also argues, Karg Island is sufficiently important to the Iranian economy that destroying its facilities would abandon any pretense of fighting a war to create a brighter future for Iran. And actually with that, you had the Trump administration asking Israel not to carry out more strikes on energy facilities in Iran, especially oil infrastructure, after previous attacks blanketed Tehran in toxic smoke and acid rain. And the White House reasons for this reportedly being that 1, these strikes harm the Iranian public, many of whom oppose the regime. 2, Trump wants to cooperate with Iran's oil sector after the war, similar to the approach that he's taken with Venezuela. And 3, that strikes could trigger even more aggressive attacks by Iran on energy infrastructure across the Gulf. And with that, you reportedly had a source familiar with the details saying that Trump views strikes on Iran's energy and oil facilities as a doomsday option. And then as far as, what might trigger that option, that's not entirely clear, since Trump and his admin, they've continually shifted the timelines and goals for the war. But as we've been talking about, just over the past few days, he called for Iran's unconditional surrender while almost simultaneously.
Why did I DC? Oh, I'm DC'd. Why am I DC'd? Did we un-DC? Yeah, I think we did. But my stream is over. No, maybe you picked up. I don't know. Reconnection successful. Some kind of hiccup. Oh, wrong spell. Oh, I didn't go to the priest trainer, and I have to do that. What happened to James List? Remember James List? James List was so funny. No more DC? No more DC.
simultaneously suggesting that the U.S. had already achieved its objective of decimating Iran's military. And then we had more today with him saying that the war would end soon because there was practically nothing left to target, and adding, anytime I want it to end, it will end. So you have that as some American and Israeli officials reportedly told Axios that they're preparing for at least 2 more weeks of strikes in Iran. But then you also have 2 other Israeli officials telling Reuters that there was no sign that the U.S. was close to ending the campaign. And then Israel's defense minister today said that the operation will continue without any time limit as long as required until we achieve all objectives and win the campaign. And so with so many different statements out there, you had Senate Democrats demanding that Trump send Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and Secretary of State Marco Rubio to testify under oath on the war in Iran, arguing that they've failed to explain the objectives, scope, and endgame of this war. Right, and then with this, as far as the public reaction, while you're seeing a lot of different takes out there, you're also seeing people like podcaster Joe Rogan having yet another remarkable revelation that the promises of this man that he helped get into office, they might have not actually meant anything.
But it just seems so insane based on what he ran on. I mean, this is why a lot of people feel betrayed, right? He ran on no more wars and these stupid, senseless wars, and then we have one that we can't even really clearly define why we did it.
And then another thing we need to talk about is just how completely unprepared this administration
Joe
was
Rogan.
to deal with the
You
consequences.
suck dick
Because
and
it's becoming
caused this.
increasingly clear that
You
this White House
made all the right-wing cocksucker butt boys look good with your piece of shit, worthless Fear Factor podcast. And you sucked on the right-wing's dick until you put Trump in power. It's your fucking fault, piece of shit. Suck my dick, Joe Rogan. And yes, I would say it to your fucking face. And I don't care if you fucking lift weights or whatever the fuck. I'll beat your fucking ass if you say something different. You caused this, Joe Rogan. You're part of the fucking problem. Now you're bitching I threw all the people overboard on the Titanic, and I'm watching them all paddle in the water as they freeze to death, and now I'm complaining about it. They're freezing down there, man. They're freezing. That's what it's like, Joe Rogan. Suck my fucking dick. You caused this piece of right-wing cocksucker shit. You caused this problem. You and your right-wing cronies fucking caused this problem. Oh no, it's all bad. Never. And you said it wouldn't be a forever war. They're Republicans. Of course, it's a forever war. That's all they do. You fucking moron. Fucking Joe Rogan. Okay, we're gonna fly up north.
House was not ready for the fight that Iran's put up. You've seen them unprepared to evacuate personnel, coming up with ideas to deal with rising gas prices only after the fact, and having no real plan for dealing with the Strait of Hormuz situation. And you even had Senator Chris Murphy, who said after that briefing that the administration had no plan on how to get it safely back open, and adding, which is unforgivable because this part of the disaster was 100% foreseeable. And you also have senior defense officials telling the New York Times that the Iranian military has shown that it learned a lot more from the 12-day war over the summer than they expected. I mean, going back to that conflict, the U.S. launched somewhere from 100 to 250 THAAD interceptors. That made up 20 to 50% of the Pentagon's inventory. In the military, they also used 80 SM-3 missiles, which was nearly a fifth of its inventory. And now the Iranian military is believed to have recognized that as a vulnerability, and they're focusing its strikes on other air defense and radar systems in the region, looking to further deplete those stockpiles. And that's also as they've had some success going after military communications infrastructure and Iranian-backed militias. They've attacked hotels frequented by American troops. And the actual damage that Iran's done to U.S. troops, it may be far greater than the administration has let on. Because we know at least 7 service members have been killed, 6 of them in a drone attack in Kuwait, and we were told yesterday that roughly 140 have been injured, including several with life-threatening injuries. But now you have CBS reporting that the drone strike in Kuwait, it was actually much worse than our government let on. Right on March 1st, they said that 5 were seriously wounded and several others sustained minor shrapnel injuries and concussions. But according to CBS, dozens are suffering injuries including brain trauma, shrapnel wounds, and burns, and more than 30 people are still in hospitals as of Tuesday night. And in the meantime, Iran has kept firing, and it's preparing to expand its targets today, threatening attacks on financial financial institutions that do business with the United States or Israel. Or with one official even saying that people across the Middle East should stay 1,000 meters away from banks. Also, we're seeing reports that Iran has been launching cluster munition warheads at Israel, which would likely violate the laws of war because they burst and they scatter into small bombs that can cause indiscriminate harm if they're fired near civilians. So with that is, you also have Israel being accused of similarly violating the laws of war by allegedly using white phosphorus in Lebanon. And speaking of Lebanon, we've seen fighting escalating dramatically with Hezbollah despite growing anger from the Lebanese people and government officials. And this is actually a really important front for us to dive into because it doesn't get as much attention with everything going on in Iran and the constant news cycle, even though a potentially huge battle is brewing and on the cusp of bubbling over. Right overnight, Israel gave evacuation warnings and then launched another wave of strikes bombarding the southern suburbs of Beirut, which are strongholds of the Iran-backed militant group Hezbollah. Also, Israeli forces launched attacks on the southern city of Tyre, the Israeli forces claiming that they had struck another Hezbollah command center there. But you also had Lebanon's Ministry of Public Health claiming that there were at least 3 civilian casualties, including a paramedic. Now with this, as of recording, we're seeing a lot of different numbers for the total number of people killed in these sweeping strikes. Reports ranging from around 20 to as many as 36. And very notably, we saw Israel expanding its attacks beyond the southern reaches of the country and striking a residential apartment block in central Beirut. And while there's been mixed reporting on whether there were casualties or not, it's incredibly significant that Israel is striking at the heart of the city where many civilians and government officials reside in densely populated areas. Meanwhile, you also had Hezbollah claiming that its fighters had attacked Israeli troops near the southern border and launched rockets at Israel, or with an IDF official claiming that the strikes were part of a broader effort by Hezbollah to target Israeli civilians and saying that the group's lashing out because Israel is doing so much damage to its capabilities. But it's also not just Hezbollah that's being impacted here, right? The Israeli campaign has also taken a massive toll on the country at large. And according to the latest figures from Lebanese officials, 570 people have been killed, including 86 children, 45 women, and 21 paramedics, while another 1,444 have been injured. And because of the continued fighting, the government says that more than 750,000 people have been displaced just in the first 12 days since the US and Israel attacked Iran, a number that the United Nations humanitarian coordinator in Lebanon called unprecedented. Then also on the ground, you have Hezbollah facing a deep and growing public backlash, with government officials and civilians openly blaming the group for dragging the entire country into the conflict. Right, and the situation with Hezbollah, it's very sticky because the group is backed by Iran and they've long been a major target of Israel, but it's also deeply ingrained in Lebanese political and military structures, wielding immense power over the state. Right, not only does Hezbollah hold cabinet positions and seats in the parliament, it also operates one of the country's most capable armed forces. But the group's continuous confrontations with Iran, they've put the lives of Lebanese civilians in jeopardy time and time again. I mean, it's only been 15 months since a ceasefire was reached in the last conflict between Hezbollah and Israel, which killed 4,000 and caused more than $11 billion in damage. Though also, I have to note there that Israel has reportedly broken the 2024 ceasefire more than 10,000 times and killed more than 100 civilians as it continues to target Hezbollah. But also, everything changed when Hezbollah launched strikes on Israel in retaliation for the joint US-Israeli attack on